write words of inspiration, jokes to make you smile. Come relax and chat with Glendora for a while.
I'm trying to find a light here. The camera's on. The problem is we don't know where the light is. Well, I don't know what's... Okay. I can't find the light. So turn the camera off. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hi folks, it's Glendora. What is going on in your area? Your area of God. Glendora cares. She would like to hear it. Call her up and tell her. Send her an email. A chat with Glendora at gmail.com. We have a new telephone number, a land number, because Glendora cannot see to answer the phone for a computer phone or a smartphone or a cell phone, whatever you want to call it. And nor can she see to dial out on it. So we had to have a landline which has a great big buttons, and you have 10 people you can call. And that's not enough, because on Glendora's contact list, folks, there's 278 people to call. So what is going on in your area of God? How do you see it, Glendora? I see God as everything there is. I see God as the universe. I see God as all there is. There is only God. I see the wholeness of God. I see that you cannot be separate from God, no matter how hard you try. You can't go off and say by yourself, I'm better than somebody else. No, you can't do that. It's a fake. It's a mirage. It doesn't work. There is no separation. There's oneness. There's allness. There's wholeness. There's onlyness. This great big grand universe. And it's good. And it moves forward. And it gets better and better. Look at what God has created in August of 2020, Anno Domini. Look at what God has created in the year 2020 so far. What do you suppose God is going to create next? What has God created in your lifetime? The internet? The cell phone? What do you think God is going to create next? Remember how I used to talk to you how there was vaudeville, and then radio and movies replaced vaudeville, and radio and movies were sort of upstaged by broadcast television. And these entertainments have a hegemony of about 50 years. And so after 50 years or so, broadcast television sort of faded out to cable television. And now cable television has sort of faded out to the phone, the cell phone, and the internet. And the phenomenon going on now with the coronavirus, which is of the family of the common cold, but much more lethal. What is going on with the coronavirus now is a help to the social media, is a help. Governments want to use the cable TV channels. So, what is going on in your area of God? Remember, it's an area. It flows. It flows like a river. It flows. It's never separate. No. What do you have to tell me? You knew that Franklin Fuller Buell, my conjugal bliss, my husband for 48 years, you knew that he donated his body to the Westchester Medical College because so medical students don't have a cadaver, and if they don't have a cadaver in anatomy class, well, they have to wait for one. So we were great believers in donating our bodies for that cause. Certainly anything to keep them away from experimenting on animals. And the body goes to the first year anatomy student, and after about a year and a half, or after the student has moved on to the next year, the Westchester Medical College had a convocation, and they sent us a lovely invitation to the survivors of the donor of the body. And we went, and the medical students praised the donors and thanked them. And if a medical student could play the piano, well, they played the piano for them as a donation, as a thank you, as an appreciation. Or they played the trumpet, or they wrote a poem, or they just stood up and said how much it meant to them. And this was very gratifying to the donors' relatives. And then they had a lovely reception. The food was delicious. And then after about a year after that, the donor's body was cremated and sent to the donor's loved ones. Well, Glendora was all set up to do that with Albany Medical College, which is about 150 miles north of Westchester Medical College. And all the papers were set up, and they were all signed, and all the directions were there, and everything was clear that upon Glendora's demise, Albany Medical College, after the coroner had the legal death examiner, who was Sarah Hauer, had determined that it was a legal death, Albany Medical College would pick up the body and take it to the medical college, and it would do its service to help a medical student keep on going. Well, along came Clovis. Along came a virus, Clovis. People in China eating animals, which they shouldn't have done. And this virus, which is of the same family as the common cold virus, and they've never found a cure for that, never, or a prevention of it. And it goes all over the world. And 180,000 people of our relatives, and our friends, and our cousins, and our brothers and sisters, 185,000 of them die in the United States. And more happening every day. But because of the Clovis, Albany Medical College suspended their anatomical gift program. And the legal death examiner, who was going to look out for Glendora to keep the body from being, you have to have an autopsy if you die without it's an unattended death if you die without a doctor. And you know Glendora, she's 92 and a third years old. No doctors and no medicine. And she's adamant about that. So this is what you call an unattended death. And New York state law requires an autopsy. And the legal death examiner was going to assist in keeping this autopsy as unobtrusive as possible. But the legal death examiner tells Glendora, Albany Med has suspended their anatomical gift program, and you will have to be cremated. Oh. And Albany Med was not going to charge anything. They were just going to say thank you. Oh, well, that's all right. Cremate, that can't be too much money. First quote that Glendora got from a funeral director was $2,300 for cremation. The next one she got was $1,800. The next one that Benny found on the internet was $1,300. And then we found that in Manhattan, excuse me please, it's nothing to sneeze at. We found in Manhattan that a person can be cremated for an amount between $700 and $900. Folks, that is an out-and-out ripoff. An out-and-out playing on the ignorance of people, hiding the real story from them. It's what you call an adventure. That's what adventurers do. They play on the prejudices and ignorances of people for their own advantage. I want to give you that $700 or 23 up to 23. I want to give it to you. I don't want to give it to a ripoff. So we begin to think about something else. That's a cremation. In Vermont, Glendora heard, you can bury your own dead. What? You can bury your loved ones in your own yard. So, A friend, Christine, a very dear friend, looked up on the internet yesterday and found out that in the state of New York, you can bury your person that you love in your own backyard. Even a box is not required. You can't bury anybody more than 1,600 feet away from some kind of a dwelling, if I understand that right. Or maybe, is it 1,600 feet away from your dwelling, or you're going to be buried in your backyard? Well, we'll look that up again for you. That all you really had to do, after you had the death certificate, is go to your local municipal government and ask them if they had any local requirements. And tomorrow, Pat Nichols is going to do that. She's going to go to our village clerk Mrs. Turner Bullen, and find out if there are any local requirements. And now I can give that money to you. So shall we close that issue? I want to be buried in my own backyard with .com under my willow tree. William, Wisconsin, Weeping Willow. Who's about 3 years old. And everybody says he's handsome. Or maybe I want to be buried next to the trunk of the 100-year-old willow tree that was 100 feet tall, that a very, very unfortunate neighbor cut down, and it wasn't even on his own property. And I came home from Bible study Tuesday night, and here is my 100-year-old willow denuded of its beauty and its branches, 100 feet tall. Can you imagine a person doing such a terrible thing? Well, this person did. And it was on July 14th, Bastille Day, in the year 2017. What else should we go on to? We are reviewing the journals of the year 2019, and we passed over into 2020, and we're up to reviewing the journal of January 2020. This is very interesting. There are recorded telephone calls that are just fascinating, that show you the beauty of the universe and its oneness and its allness and its wholeness and its onlyness and your flow in it. Folks, have you started your sanctuary yet? I think you probably have. Your sanctuary, where you go and you listen to your conscience. And you listen to the soul that's inside of you. That's the same soul that's inside of everybody, and it's one. You know, I have another afflatus. Another supernatural uh, insight, divine insight. This oneness. You know, you say, well, there's space between you and me. Well, there's things between you and me that you and I cannot see. And I'd love to watch how electromagnetic waves travel. Light waves, red, orange, green, blue, yellow, violet. And I think that thought waves are light waves with a very, very high frequency. Probably the highest frequency there is. And I think there is something between us. It's obvious what it is. It's gravity. Something you know very well. So that's my latest. Afflatus. An imparting of divine knowledge. So, I was telling you about the Olympus. Well, how many are there? Well, from January or so of 2019 up to this very August. Oh, it's the next to the last day of our beautiful August. Oh, August, you were a supreme month, full of excitement and progress and joy and attainment. And tomorrow is your last day. Thank you, August. How many Olympus were there? Here's what an Olympus looks like. Olympus makes beautiful products. The Olympus microcassette is an impeccable machine. This is the Olympus digital audio recorder. It costs $42 in Walmart. Sometimes it costs less. I bought it at $33, I think. But here is 1,500 hours of audio. I made it my standard recorder. Better than the JVC Averio camcorder. Why? Although the JVC Averio camcorder is a delight. Why? Because it's one unit. The JVC camcorder, you have to have another unit, a TV set. Oh, and you have to have a third unit, which is a SD card. And you can't take the JVC, well, I guess you can, to bed and listen to it as easily as you can the Olympus. So that's where we are now. And I think we have covered the events pretty much of January 2020. Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart. All else to me, save that thou art. Thou, my best thought by day or by night. Waking or sleeping, thy presence my light. You hear that oneness, that allness, that wholeness? So this is a big thing that's going on. We've listened to 9 Olympus already, and we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and in here, in the net bag, is the current Olympus, And that's 17. Here you are, baby. He has a rubber band around him to distinguish him from the one we're listening to. What else do you have to report to me? I care. And I wish you the best. And I see you as perfect. Because everything is God and God is perfect. So we're looking at things wrong when we see things as anything less than perfect. And that's the whole idea of Christian Science. A Christian Science practitioner is helping me get rid of the pain in the right knee. How did that pain start? Were you injured? No. No. No, never. It started when I began to get 88 and didn't seem to have... It started with a kink between the top of the right leg and where the leg attaches to the body. It was a Charlie horse. And the toe was turning inward, and I had to walk sideways with that foot. It went away, then it came back again. That was the start of something bad. That was the start of a misalignment somewhere. And what next followed? The inability to stand up straight. Instead, leaning over. That threw off the alignment in the sciatic nerve in the back. The sciatic nerve comes down, splits, goes into your left leg and your right leg. The sciatic nerve in the right leg, in the knee, all of its alignment was being thrown off. As long as you were still, it didn't hurt, but every time you moved the right knee, and also it got worse, the whole right leg, it hurt. But it's getting better, because this Christian Science practitioner cares about this particular or unparticular person. She sees this person as perfect, a creation of God, and that there couldn't be anything wrong with her leg. And she cares about this person, and she prays for this person. That in itself is therapeutic, isn't it? That's why I pray for you and care for you, and try to make you see your perfection as some of God. One of her lessons is be still and know that I am God. Go to your sanctuary and be still and know that God is God. Be still and know that I am God. You, ego, are not God. And as much as you try to be God and better, you'll never make it. Be still and know that I am God. But you, ego, you're not God. You think you are and you try to be, but you're just not, and you're not going to make it. And I'm glad you're not going to make it. Because you're some of God. You're beautiful. You're great. You're talented. You're gifted. You have a set of talents that nobody else has. And you can do a job, as I told David Letterman, that nobody else can do. Find the thing that you can do the best and do it and create. This is Olympus 9, January 2020. That's faded there in the background. And I send my Christian Science practitioner, I've sent her $100 all over. They charge. Of course they charge. And I think that they're not allowed to make money any other way. If a person is a Christian Science practitioner, that's the only income that they can have, I think. At first I was shocked at that, because I said Jesus did not charge to heal. But now I'm all right with that. And we've got another $100 to send her as soon as Esther comes in and signs a check. I can't see to sign checks anymore, and she's my power of attorney. And then I'm going to send her another $100. I've got that put aside. And then she says, no, just send $50. And they work hard. And they're cases of people being healed. So many of them. You can't keep up with them. They can't be publishing all of them. There's so many of them. They're testimonies. And I'm a testimony. My leg is better since a week ago Tuesday. And this is over the phone, by the way. She's in Massachusetts and I'm in New York. And I asked her what was her take on recording them, the sessions. They're a half an hour. And she said, oh, I want you to. And I want you to play them back and back. But don't publish them. Okay. So it's a matter of seeing reality to them. And so many people have been healed and helped. Mary Baker Eddy's book is called Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures. And it was written around about the last quarter of the 1800s. And she healed because she loved. When she saw somebody sick, she felt so badly. And she loved that person. And I guess that's the way Jesus healed. Loving the person and also getting rid of the person's guilt. Guilt and sickness go together. Okay, what else is going on? The Raphael family has this ship. This is a television ship. And it goes from port to port, spreading the message, the great message. After all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how do you help others? No, say it again, Glendora. After all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others? And we go from port to port, delivering that message. How many ports do you have? Well, 75, Boston to San Diego. And it's through the medium of public access TV. Well, how many shows have you done? We're on 13,200. Well, how long ago did you start it? Almost a half a century. 49 years ago. What is your Bible passage today? We can do all things through God who strengthens us. What? We can do all things through God who strengthens us. Christian scientists meditate much. Buddhists meditate much. And I've always taken a dim view of that. Instead of meditating, get out and help others. But there's a lot to it, that meditation, to get you onto the right plane, to get you onto the right oneness, to get you to feel that allness, and that you're some of God. Because there's only God. It really can make you feel it. And I guess you do have to work on it. Certainly, Mary Baker Eddy worked almost 9 years on it, as far as I can see. I've always admired Christian Science with the Christian Science Monitor, which used to be a newspaper, a daily newspaper. You could go to the stands and buy it. You could subscribe to it. You could go to a little machine and put your quarter in, because it reported the news as God makes the news. Beautiful, whole, progressive, successful, perfect. My husband was a newspaper reporter, and a very kind one. He enjoyed writing about little people doing great things. And he always admired the Christian Science Monitor. And when the Christian Science Monitor did a newspaper article on the SS Glendora on Boston television, WBZ TV Channel 4, which dominates New England, I asked the Christian Science reporter who was writing the story on the SS Glendora, I asked her, do you have to be a Christian Scientist to work for the Christian Scientist Monitor? Because I think Franklin really would like to have worked for them. And she said, it amounts to that. So Franklin continued working for the Buffalo Evening News as a reporter. The Buffalo Evening News, now owned by Warren Buffett. And thank you, Warren Buffett, and thank you, Franklin Fuller for the $857 that you send us every month. Thank you. And we use it to spread the message. In Christ there is no east or west, in him no north or south, but one great fellowship of love throughout the whole wide earth, the whole wide universe. Cosmology means everything there is, the study of everything there is. The universe is everything there is. Cosmology is the study of the universe. Glendora isn't able to do her own cooking, and that's a blessing to the world. And she has 7 days friends who bring her a vegan meal Monday through Sunday. Last night, Patricia Nichols Sarr brought Glendora The joy of the season, a fresh tomato sandwich. It's the only time of the year that you can have one, a fresh tomato. All the rest of the time of the year, it's hothouse tomatoes. Beautiful red, plump, make your salad look great, hard as rocks, no flavor, and they rot before they ripen. But this is the time of year, August, September, when you can have a succulent homegrown tomato. And she made that into a sandwich with vegan maize and salt and pepper. And we're going to get vegan bacon and iceberg lettuce and have vegan BLTs for the duration, for as long as the tomatoes last. A tomato is a wonderful, it's a very exciting plant to watch. A little yellow blossom happens. And pretty soon there's a little green ball. And the little ball gets bigger. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the green ball turns to a beautiful red. They're great fun to watch grow. And also, while it lasts, this is the season, corn on the cob. And also, the new potatoes. I like Maine potatoes the best. They're not mealy. They have the right amount of moisture in them and good water in them. They aren't mealy. They're nice and smooth. And then you mash a potato by taking about 2 tablespoons of the hot water it was boiled in and a tablespoon or so of almond milk or soy milk and half a tablespoon of, or a teaspoon of oil, vegetable oil, and salt and pepper. Now there is good mashed potato. And what else? Well, maybe a vegan meat for the duration of the season. What else is going on? The schools. Is it safe for those kids to go back and be so close together? You have to wear the mask. Wash your hands every half hour if you can. Keep your immune system straight. Go vegan. No animal products. This whole thing started with people eating animal products. No animal products. Plant-based diet. Wearing gloves. Wearing your mask. Staying 6 feet apart. And if anybody sneezes, get away from it as quickly as you can and get your mask on. The COVID-19 virus acts just like the common cold, except it's much more severe. It gets into your nasal passage, your mucus passages, all around here. Then it gets into the pulmonary system, and then it ruins the breathing process, and you die.
Good cleaning cloth, good hot water, soap, bleach,
And stay. Terrible. Stay by yourself. But you can communicate with the electromagnetic radiation. And are we coming out of it? What is your opinion? Do they have a something to prevent it? Do they have a shot to prevent it? You want me to put my hair back on, or do you like it this way? For the beauty of the earth, for the glory of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us rise. Lord of all, to Thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of every hour, morning, noon, and sleep at night, hill and dale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light. Lord of all, to Thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of eye and ear, for the heart's and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight. Lord of all, to Thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human love, brother, sister, parent, child, friends on earth and friends above, for every word that's tender and mild. Lord of all, to Thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise. If you analyze that hymn, you will see that it covers every aspect of the universe, of which you are some. All right, what else should we tell you about? For 10 years, I think, or 8, we have been well, it's been an adversary. Somebody who takes you on knowing fully well that he wants to conquer you. Well, this adversary is the cell phone, the computer phone. And we don't get the mobile network. We cannot get the mobile network sitting here at the hard work desk. There's the 2 windows. We go to call somebody, what? Hey Google! Hey Google! No mobile network. We take it outdoors.
According to CallCare, restart your device. Most often, the mobile network not available error can be fixed just by restarting your device.
She just said it can be started by... Okay, Google, I'll do that.
66,810.
By restarting your device, you mean...
I don't understand.
You mean to open the back and take the battery out? No, I don't have the vision to do that, dear. We'll wait until Benny, Eliel, Esther, and Abby come in. But why do you leave me, mobile network? Why do you leave? or we take it up to the street level. We are 16 feet below ground, below street level, not below ground. 6 down and 3 across.
After the telephoning, what comes? The Bible. What's the Bible?
And we go up on the porch,
You want to others that
and
you
then we
have
can
that never
telephone.
be you.
And it's worse in the summer. And this summer it's been worse in all of the 8 years.
Most gracious,
So we called
no
Spectrum, which used to be Time Warner,
and peace afford.
and we told them this problem that we had and that we wanted our money back, and that I have this many straight talk cards, you know, straight talk cards that you use to your money, use up your phone card. Anyway, 8 years on Spectrum, the last 2 years on Spectrum. We called them up and told them that we wanted our money back and that your mobile network doesn't work. And somebody says, oh, you need a Wi-Fi pod. You need a Wi-Fi pod. Did you know that? You need a Wi-Fi pod. Or we can send a technician out. I don't know if it costs money or not. I said, oh, this is wonderful. Good. We'll connect you to our internet division. So we waited here 40 minutes.
The time is 11 a.m. Hourly reminder.
Thank you, dear Google. We waited on the phone 40 minutes. And nobody answered. And then we were disconnected. But that's hope. Hope springs eternal in the human breast. Monday we'll try it again. Now what else is going on in our world here together? After all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others. Others includes animals. They feel they want to live, they want to raise families just as much as you do. And they're captured and beaten and clubbed and prodded with an electric prod in the rectum, pushed into a dirty truck and sent to a slaughterhouse where the horrors, you go ahead, think of the horrors. We have to stop that. And every time you put down your money at a supermarket, you're liable. You are paying for that. You are financing it. The resources that have been given to you or that go through you by the universe are being used for that. Don't do anything, or rather don't use in any animal products. No animal products. No leather, no fur, no honey. No animal products. Why? Because you're made to live harmlessly. And you'd better live harmlessly, or else. You're made to live harmlessly. Be ye therefore blameless and harmless, as a child of God, without rebuke, in the midst of a wicked and perverse generation. Let your light shine before the world. Simple, isn't it? You want to be happy? You want to be joyful? You want everything to be nice and peaceful and successful? There's only one way to do it. Be selfless. Get rid of the self. The reason that we don't understand that there is no sickness and there is no evil, the reason we don't is we look at it wrong. And we're selfish. And we look at it. If you get rid of self, I'll bet you'll get rid of sickness. Glendora, if you get rid of self and love people the way you're supposed to love people and help people and animals and all life the way you're supposed to, I think you will get rid of this pain in the knee. And I also think that the blindness will go too. I really think so. If I can perfect my love of everybody as it should be, flowing here through God and love and spirit, I think that the knee pain and the blindness would just disappear. Do you thank your soul? No, that's not right, Glendora. Do you think about your soul? How about taking a clock, a tick-tock? Just a minute, folks. It's in the net bag. With God we go to spread the joy of life. We win each day. This is as bad as a woman's pocketbook trying to get something out of it. The happiness of love. We count our blessings. We give thanks, we give joy. Stop the cruel. Oh, stop the cruel. Now listen to this. Who is the final decision maker? Who has been working non-stop, quietly and unobtrusively? Your heartbeat. Who gets all the credit? Who gets all the applause? Who gets all of the devotion? Do you think there's only one heartbeat? The heartbeat of the universe? Do you think we're all synchronized to that? The heartbeat of the universe? Who brings you into the world? The heartbeat. Who takes you out of it? That's an unfortunate way you're putting it, Glendora. Because of eternal. Because of the eternal. The heartbeat. Now, is your heartbeat going to take you out of this world on May the 1st, 2021? Or is it going to wait until May the 1st, 2022? This heartbeat, I never can find my heartbeat. I can't find, a little bit I can feel it here. I never can feel it here. But this heart has been beating non-stop, not the least bit of time stop, for 92 1/3 years. And if we look at it right, your passing out will be peaceful and painless and easy and quickly. Or, if you look at it wrong, it's going to be long drawn out and very painful. Got to look at it right. You got to remember the allness, the wholeness, the oneness, the goodness. Have we covered everything, folks? Well, I certainly covered enough, right? We've certainly covered enough. Who's bringing the vegan Meals on Wheels today? Sandy Blakeman McLean. What will she bring? I forgot to tell her that we wanted exclusive corn on the cob, fresh tomatoes and potatoes. Who does it tomorrow? Esther. Esther. She was born in Guyana, and she brings pigeon peas, which I've never heard of. And she brings other vegetables that this vegetarian vegan has never heard of. And I had counted 87 vegetables and fruits that we know of in our areas. But now she added 3 more. So Tuesday, who brings it? Sandy Blakeman McLean. Meals on Wheels. Wednesday, that would be Pat again with the bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich, vegan bacon, and the new potato, and the corn on the cob. And who brings it Thursday? Darlene. And she is very creative. She finds all kinds of different vegan meals to bring. The little boy ran into the house and he said, Grandma, Grandma, I dropped my lunch bag on the driveway and Dad backed the car over it. And Grandma said, that's Wheels on Meals. I have to tell you that the Raphael family, Benaiah, Eliel, Abigail, and Esther, have kept this television ship, this TV enterprise, called A Chat with Glendora, the SS Glendora, the vegan commercials to help the animals, the Glendora Franklin Museum, public access pro se newspaper, and the Glendora Vegetarian Club, all of those properties, has kept them afloat and up to date. All of the work is up to date for 4 weeks. Did you ever do everything that your conscience told you to do? As far as work goes, get the work up to date? Well, this has happened. It's a reality. Okay, what else is there to tell you? We are just finishing up the programs that will go on cable TV on 75 TV stations, Boston to San Diego. We're just finishing up those that will be cable cast in October, November 2020. We're making the ones right now for Queens, QPTV, because they take an SD card, they won't take a DVD, which is a public access format. And Bethlehem, just outside of Albany, New York, they won't take an SD card, so we have to do that. Make special, out-of-the-way SDs for them. But anyway, we are finishing it up. And it amounts to something like 200 discs, 280 discs really. And they all have to be labeled as to the station, as to the date, as to the length of them. They all have to be labeled. They all have to be packaged. They will be posted on the third Thursday of this month of September that starts tomorrow, by my friend, the postmaster at Brainerd Post Office, Rensselaer County, New York. That's where we are. We're just about done, and we're done about 3 weeks early. With the message. When all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is what? How did you treat others? DC TV, Durnford in Portland, Oregon. It has caused him one computer problem after another. He still hasn't resolved it after a month of frustration. So Robert Jackson started it up, and he figured out the system that DCTV, Washington DC Public Access, wants to use. It only took him 2-3 days, and he just followed it, and sweet Julia Reardon helped him. She works for DCTV, and he uploaded the program. The actual upload in itself, per se, took only 12 minutes for a 30-minute program. Karen Beasley, the program director, who scrutinizes these programs and usually rejects mine for reasons that are really illegal, forbidden editorial control over public access TV, she says that she is planning the program not for August, not for September, but for October, and she won't get to reviewing it until the middle of September, and we will hear from her then. So that's a challenge that is dormant, at least for a couple of weeks. Dropbox is going on here. We have a Dropbox account, and it costs $60 a month, and that's $700 a year. So we have to have second thoughts about that. But the Dropbox is good, and Mr. Jackson is supplying to Mr. Durnford. Mr. Jackson is in Yonkers, New York, and he's supplying to Mr. Durnford in Portland, Oregon, the MPEG 2, which is an older format, which some TV stations are requiring, and or the MOV, which is an Apple thing. And he's going to supply that to Mr. Durnford, and then he's also going to upload the 4 programs that I send Mr. Jackson. He's going to upload those to Mr. Durnford in Portland, Oregon, so that all Mr. Durnford has to do is load them into the Dropbox, and off they go to 6 TV stations. Mr. Jackson takes care of 16 TV stations by computer. The rest are by DVD or SD card. That's what's going on. And a lot more. In God's universe. In the universe which is God. So God gave us the internet and gave us a camcorder that you hold in your hand. When TV cameras used to be this big, I kid you not, they were this big. The General Electric color camera was this big. And God gives us this cell phone. Hey Google, you are God-given. You are a glory of God. Hey Google, you are a glory of God.
results.
You missed your chance, Google. These are the top results. Okay, what's left? Oh, jokes. I have to tell you jokes. The young minister at the Kinderhook Reformed Church announced from the pulpit, this afternoon at 5:30 p.m. This afternoon at 5:30, we are starting a men's study group. And I got up and I said, well, I'm coming. I've been studying men for 20 years and I still don't understand them. Harry said, I'm not going to school today. The kids don't like me. The teachers don't like me. Even the custodians have it in for me. His mother says, you are going to school today. You have much to learn. You have much to offer. And besides, you're 45 years old and the principal. The truck driver was eating his lunch at the truck stop, and 3 motorcycles pulled up. They parked their bikes and they came into the truck stop, and one of the motorcyclists turned over the truck driver's glass of water, one turned over his cup of coffee, one turned over his dinner plate. The truck driver